computers and teaching teacher, and everybody, it's the second class you take as an education major, and everyone is like, what is this class, computers and teaching? Like, the title does nothing for what it is. It's basically like how to introduce technology into the classroom. And so I took that 2 semesters ago. You remind me a lot of that teacher, but you talked a little bit early on about you came here right when technology was first starting to be introduced to the classroom.
Yes.
How have you seen that evolve over the past, I don't know how long it's been, because technology was always in my classroom.
Yeah.
As she says, I'm a technology native instead of a technology immigrant. Like her parents are. It's her favorite saying.
Interesting. I have felt from the beginning that technology could never be used as an end in itself, and some people were using it that way. There are a lot of dead ends with using technology. In the early days, people often were, there's a lot of drill and practice that was being done on the computer. And that wasn't doing anything for helping children become deeper thinkers or really. So I know that in classrooms now they're using the internet a lot more. They're thinking about it as a source of information, and certainly in terms of, I'm somebody who's also been a writing teacher, and having technology come in, this never was an issue for you, but for people who used to to type on a keyboard, being able to type on the computer, it just made such a huge difference, because suddenly it was something very malleable, rather than feeling like you were setting it in stone, and it was so discouraging. Suddenly it was much more fluid. I think that's been something huge, and I always feel that technology is such a double-edged sword. I think that your generation is using it in some really interesting ways that we never thought about. At the same time, I think you're paying a really high price for that amount of distractibility. I think people need to be a little cautious about what they're losing in doing this, and to not get sucked in so much. It's very seductive. So
it's easy because the kids like it, so they relate more. I mean, in my experience, the kids have really enjoyed. I am at science education is my concentration.
Great.
And you take, and when I've been in the classroom, I've done everything from teaching a lesson to taking the kids to the library for a web, and they get so much more excited. I'd like to see that, but they don't learn as much, and I don't know if they always grasp that they don't learn as much.
Right. And what I'd like to see them do is go to a title pool and really experience what's there, and really look closely and really think about it. So the overlay of technology, as I said, is very seductive. It can make people think that. So I'm not saying people don't learn a tremendous amount. And the way that it's, I just,
You have to be careful.
I have to be careful. Yeah, you have to be careful.
Let's see.
And I think that the bias here at Bank Street is, yes, use technology, but go first to the source. Really,
don't make it your go-to.
You want kids to really experience things firsthand, whenever you can.
Right. So you said that you are a graduate of Bank Street. Can you give me a little bit of insight as to what it's like as a student here, and maybe it's evolved from when you were here, and what it's like present day, as most universities do? I know that mine has gone through huge changes in the past 7 years.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about what it's like to be a graduate student here, and I think it has not changed here very much, just because the model that we use is something that it is who we are. The classes are small. They're capped at 27. We don't have large lectures here. We want students to really be very engaged in their own graduate school work. It always starts with child development. We think that people need to be very solidly based in development. All of the programs include very extensive supervised fieldwork advisement, where the students are working in the field and they have an advisor who visits them once a month, meets with them twice a month, meets with them every week in a very small conference group of just 5 to 7 students. That engagement of the faculty, this is a teaching faculty. They are engaged with their graduate students. This is not basically a research institution, though the research is important to us, but what we're doing is really working with people who are then going to go work with kids. Or people who are going to become school leaders. So we're really thinking about their professional growth and development. So I think in those ways, yes, the field of education has evolved. There are always pendulum swings. But I think that what we believe in and what we are hoping for our students has not really changed very much. We still are looking for high quality education where children are treated very respectfully in the classroom, and when we're there, we're hoping that they will become the learners. So those things are just completely consistent.
What? You've already answered that.
Okay, that's all right.
You're great. You're answering my questions that I have and the questions of the other questions. So what really makes a student stand? You know, if you, as director of admissions, you have to have something that really makes a student stand out and be able to show you that yes, they belong here at Bank Street.
Yes, there's a whole thing about the admissions process. So we are looking for, the programs here are very rigorous. They require a great deal of reading and a great deal of writing and a great deal of reflection. People are going to be taking on a responsibility for children, and that's a huge responsibility. So first of all, we want to see that people have a lot of academic strength, that we know that they're going to, we can feel confident that they will be successful in an academically rigorous program. We are also looking for those special people who will be really great teachers. We're looking for people who are going to be outstanding in this kind of work. So we're looking for, we ask people to do a lot of writing in the application. They have to write a reflective autobiography. They answer some shorter essays, but we're trying to get to know them. And we're looking for people who we think have a strong commitment to working with children, who are really thinking about those kids rather than children love me.
Right.
They always want to be with me. It's more about, how, are they developing insights about children? So we want to know that they've had experience working with kids, that they are reflective people, and then there are just some qualities that we are looking for, but that's kind of giving you a sense.
Do most of your students come, do they go to college and then decide that they want to go to graduate school, or do they go teach for a few years, or do something like Teach for America?